Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds. It's Friday. Thank the good Lord. Man, what a great game last night. I wish I could have stayed up to watch the whole thing. I really do. I eventually, almost to midway part of the fourth quarter, finally was like, I got to go to bed. But I really had a good time watching it. It's crazy, too, if you look at the score. If you look at the scoreboard, first quarter, Hurricanes just score a field goal. Second quarter, both teams score 14, 13 points. Third quarter, just another field goal. And then in the fourth quarter, kind of the same thing. The difference was the 2 points. And then, of course, Miami wins. But, God, I thought it was great. What'd you think?
Well, there's no question in my mind Miami's the better of the two teams. You take a look at all these statistics, and it's all Miami. And yet the score was only 31-27, and the winning touchdown comes with 18 seconds remaining in the game, and that was Carson Beck who ran it in. The key to the game was, and you could see it right from the very start, it looked to me like Miami could do whatever they wanted to on offense. They were very conservative. I had to question some of the play calling, but then again, you're not down there on the field. And it was so conservative they ran the ball because they knew that they could penetrate and eat up time on the clock and get a commanding lead and probably hold it. Ole Miss is pretty good. Don't get me wrong. Trinidad Chambliss, their quarterback, I hope he comes back next year, is really an extraordinary talent. But in terms of the overall makeup of the team, Mike, there's an old expression in all of football at whatever level. When you have an offensive line that's superior, you're going to win. And Miami's offensive line was superior. The coaching expression is, our guys are agile, mobile, and hostile.
And
they were.
And starch-fed, that's for sure.
They just absolutely dominated Ole Miss. Whenever Miami needed a key play, they made it on the ground because that line was opening up big holes for their running backs, and they made it work. Miami's a very deserving winner, 31-27. And to my knowledge, next Monday, not this coming Monday, but next Monday, the 19th, when they play for the championship, it'll be the first time in the history of the playoffs that a team has a home field
it's like
advantage.
20 minutes away.
It's their home field.
Yeah.
This is where they play their games at Hard Rock Stadium, and that's where the national championship is. Now, are they better than Indiana, and are they better than Oregon? We'll find out.
Well, also just a little caveat. Ole Miss was going through some coaching stuff too going into this game, which I think you don't think it really. You don't think it. Well, I don't know. But again, the big test, and you're right on the money, was the difference is Miami just has an incredible offensive line, and when you have that, it's really tough to stop. Even whatever pace they decide to play the game. Speaking of which, we're not done yet. We got another college game tonight, don't we?
This is the second. This will complete the field now. It'll be Miami against either of these two teams. This is the Peach Bowl game, and it's being played at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, which is an absolute palace. Anyway, it's an all Big Ten Conference matchup, Oregon versus Indiana. Second time they have played this year. Back in October when Indiana went out to Oregon, to Eugene, Oregon, that was going to be the proof of the pudding as to how good Indiana was. Well, Indiana won 30-20 in a very good performance. Oregon is extremely good football team. In fact, both are very good football teams. Indiana's a 3.5-point favorite. Miami was a 3.5-point favorite last night. And what did they win by? 4. These guys in Las Vegas, they know exactly what they're doing. Anyway, Indiana and Oregon, and that's tonight. And the winner then goes to the national championship game against Miami. It should be fun.
It's, again, I think it's going to be even more, this one probably a little bit more explosive than the other one. But I think the one last night was more indicative of the way Miami wanted to play the game, and that's why it moved the way it did. We also got a pretty incredible wild card weekend as well on the slate.
The wild card will be coming up. Of course, there are 2 games tomorrow, 3 on Sunday, and then 1 more on Monday, and we'll be talking about them a little bit later on. But, yeah, it should be just a lot of fun because this is the pro football weekend, and this is when it all begins. That's the march to the Super Bowl coming up. And the 2 games tomorrow, well, they will be exceedingly interesting, in my opinion. Los Angeles going to Charlotte to play the Carolina Panthers. Okay, so what happens here? They played just 2 weeks ago. and the Carolina Panthers won. But this time, the Rams are a huge favorite over Carolina. And then tomorrow night at Soldier Field, Chicago, you have the Bears and the Packers, a renewal of one of the oldest, if not the oldest rivalry in the NFL, and that'll be a lot of fun as well.
Definitely will be. And again, I cannot believe that Carolina has home field advantage, but they do.
It's the way they break it down. I can't believe they're in the playoffs.
Well, there's a team in the South, in the NFC South, that's 8-9 that's going to the playoffs, so I wouldn't be too surprised.
It really, in all honesty, should be Tampa Bay, but the way it breaks down when you have a three-way tie, Carolina got the nod.
Crazy. Packers, Bears, I think is going to be a great game for sure. When do the Cardinals get here? They're coming next week, aren't they?
The Cardinals will be here on Friday. It's all part of the Tournament of Champions. It's not in conjunction with that, but it is an association they've had over the years. And the Cardinal Caravan will be here on January 16th. That is next Friday. They have a noon meeting that's open to the public at the Bill Road Training Center at Hammons Field. Some of the players include Victor Scott and J.J. Weatherhold and Jose Fermin. They'll be among the players who are down here. And, of course, then they'll be introduced a little bit later on that night at the Tournament of Champions. So, yep, Cardinals and baseball coming on.
Did the Lady Bears get the win last night?
Well, they did. 67-61 over Kennesaw State from the northern suburbs of Atlanta. And Kennesaw State put up a very, very good rally. They had a terrific night shooting from the field. So the Lady Bears. Cayman Beckemeyer from Republic had 26 points, and Lainey Douglas had 21 to lead the Lady Bears. Kennesaw State, and this is interesting, Mike, when you take a look at the team stats, the Lady Bears won it at the foul line. 26 of 31. They were 26 of 31 from the foul line. That's the Lady Bears. Kennesaw State, perfect, 100%. 4 for 4. Had 4 foul shots the entire game. Oh, my. Anyway, Lady Bears will play again tomorrow. They'll take on Jacksonville State, and indeed, that's a part of the doubleheader tomorrow at the Great Southern Bank Arena. The guys will play at 4 o'clock.
Go Bears! Are you surprised that the Dolphins don't have a head coach anymore?
Well, I'm not surprised because Mike McDaniel's had a rocky go of it here the last couple of years. He's a good coach. He's a very smart guy. But why'd they wait so long? It could have been, and it could have been something to do with the travel arrangements by the Dolphins owner who had just arrived back from some kind of long journey. Maybe they were waiting on him, I don't know. But, hey, Black Monday came along and all the firings took place and so forth, and here it is Thursday, and they wait to let Mike McDaniel go. And the interesting thing about it is McDaniel, the day before, this is Wednesday, was quoted as saying that as far as he knew, he was the coach for next year and everything was all set. He didn't have a clue this was coming up. Well, they let him go, they being the Miami Dolphins yesterday, so they are now another team in the hunt for a new coach.
I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but if he doesn't land a HC job, it'd be great to see what he could do as an OC again. And I wouldn't hate it, but to see him.
He's a very bright OC.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't be bad to see him in Kansas City, man. I would. I know we probably can't afford it, but maybe we can. I don't know. But at the same time, that would be crazy.
Well, you say you can't afford him. Now, he doesn't expect to get a head coach's salary, but his salary would have to be pretty good. Mm-hmm. First of all, the guy's been around. He's a Yalie from Yale University's Ivy Leaguer. He's very bright. He's been with other teams before going to Miami as head coach, so he has a pretty good legacy in the NFL, and he is no dumbbell. And his offensive schemes have been pretty good. Got to have the horses to get it done. And look at the number of free agents that the Chiefs have on there. Gosh, Pacheco's a free agent, Hunt is a free agent, and they are unrestricted free agents. So, you've got a lot of work to do with that lineup, and you also have a salary cap to go through.
Well, again, the only thing that I know that's probably not going to make that happen is I know that Reed still calls the plays, and I don't think he's going to want to go sit behind Reed and just be kind of like a assistant, more or less. Obviously, I'm going to be watching a lot of football this weekend, but if you don't care about football and you'd rather watch basketball, what can you check out?
Well, here in town, there's a doubleheader. The Lady Bears play at noon, as we mentioned earlier, play Jacksonville State from Alabama. Then the Bears play at 4 o'clock against Florida International. That's an interesting matchup. The Florida International team from Miami is pretty good, and I'm anxious to see what the Bears, who are coming off a loss at Kennesaw Kennesaw State, what they can do, and hopefully they can rebound. Drury has a doubleheader over at the O'Reilly Family Event Center. They're hosting Lincoln. The ladies play the first game, and the men will play the second game. So it's a doubleheader, a conference doubleheader. And then Mizzou plays. They have a meeting in Oxford, Mississippi against Ole Miss. That'll be at 5 o'clock. Arkansas also on the road. They have LSU late tomorrow afternoon, also at 5 o'clock. So we have plenty of basketball. Hoops is heating up, and that's always a fun time of the year when that's the case.
Ned, you have a wonderful weekend, and enjoy whatever you end up watching from the bar.